As we start our week off, I wanted to put another list of 5 things that you should be purchasing. Again, some of these being a little bit more expensive, some of these being very economical. They're for everyone's budget. The purpose of these videos are to help you say, you know what, these would be some good items to have for everyday use, but also it helps me learn how to be more sustainable. It also teaches me of prepping and making sure I have things on hand, and that also gives me some safety and security to know that I can take care of my family. Let's jump into these 5 things that you should purchase this week. These are things that I buy literally on a weekly basis to make sure I have enough just in case something happens. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Now today we're going to be talking about 5 things that you should purchase. It's actually 6 to be honest with you. I'm going to throw an extra one in there because I think it's something that you should be just keeping an eye on. Everything that we do is because of something we learned for the last week. And everything that we try to put up and put up in safety is because there could be shortages coming, and we want to make sure that we're taken care of and our families are taken care of. I told you I'm a family of 8, so we make sure we are always watching what's going on so we can prepare for what's coming. Now, number 1, let's jump into it. Number 1, you need to buy either the Ring camera or a simple wireless camera or a system that at least focuses on your front door and your doors. Now, not just because that's safety and you know, just thieves and things like that breaking in. But did you see last week the story of these plainclothes 3-letter agencies? FBI came by and they're starting to show up at people's doors because of posts they've done. Maybe because they were whistleblowers. Maybe because they just simply shared a video. All this happened last week. Christopher Rufo shared this on Twitter, showing that this was happening more and more with this DOJ. They were sending out plainclothes officers to just check on why you tweeted this, why you shared this video, why you thought like this. That's a pretty serious accusation, pretty serious thing. I did a video not too long ago about, you know, if someone comes to your door, what do you do? This is one of those things where you need to make sure that you're recording. Not always will you have your phone, but if you had a little Ring door camera or you had some kind of camera system that is focused on the front door that could catch audio and video, I think this could benefit you in making sure that you are kept safe. This is a serious issue that is taking place more and more. And I would say, well, you have representatives who can help you. You have people who will stand on your side. Our representatives are not helping us in any form or fashion when it comes to conservatism. So you see what they're doing to the former president. You see what they're doing to his advisors. You see what they're doing to a lot of people. Do you think that you're going to get a free pass? No. So make sure you have some kind of audio, video, visual system on your front door, on your back door, on the door that everybody tends to come to. You never know, may who show up, not only for safety and security, but also from our 3-letter agencies. Number 2, as crazy as the world goes and gets, I'm always looking to stockpile this. Always. I buy these from a local provider. I buy them with cash, and I make sure that I always talk to him about what I'm needing for the week or the month. I tend to buy typical rounds, things that a lot of my pew-pews shoot. I try not to buy any kind of crazy, unique rounds. I try to keep to the same stable kind of rounds. First of all, it saves me money. Secondly, I'm going to utilize that more if I'm targeting or if I'm just simply having it for safety. You need to make sure you are stockpiling this. This is one of those things that over time, they're going to ban it. I mean, every country has done this other than America, and America needs to stand staunch on this. But this is something I buy. I buy it literally by the boxes. You use your brain power on what I'm saying there. But make sure you are getting this and stockpiling. I want to make sure that I have a good bit of magazines, a good bit of extra, and I make sure that they're kept in a cool, dry place, sealed off so they're not going bad. This is an investment in assets to make sure I can protect my family, keep my family safe, but also be able to utilize if I'm going somewhere or if I'm literally just trying to feed my family. This is a must-have. If you are not carrying and you don't have forms of defense, you need to do this quickly, because I believe you're going to start seeing more and more, especially if 2024 doesn't go in our way, I believe you're going to see some very tough times, and I believe you're going to see even Republicans who are in these liberal states and Democrats push against this, where you're going to lose your rights to hold on. Either have them, or they're going to be so expensive and so taxed that you're not going to be able to get them. Number 3, this is one that, of course, if you live in apartments, you may have to customize a little bit, but one thing that we bought this week and we've been growing for a long time, I tell you all the time, we talk about legacy when it comes to our farm and making sure that we're planting not for just now, but also for the future. We bought a lot of nut and fruit trees this week. We've been planting a lot. Our goal is to grow and make a orchard, or make basically a forever garden for our family. We picked, if you saw all the plums, the blueberries, and the strawberries we've been picking this year, the reason is because we've spent years of getting those going into the ground, and we're still planting more. Why? Because I want to make our land so giving and so fruitful that it multiplies and that my family can be kept safe. So we tell you to plant gardens, plant annuals, but you need to be planting perennials. You need to be planting fruit and nut trees that will be there for legacy and for a lifetime. There's so many places we go and on home sites and homesteads where people are like, oh, my grandmother planted this and it's still giving us food. You have to learn to be independent, and you have to learn to be sustainable, but you also have to learn to be responsible. If you're raising kids, you don't need to be feeding them McDonald's and Chick-fil-A every day. And you need to make sure that you're giving them a well-balanced meal from the ground. Well, you're planting gardens, hopefully, and you can plant fruit trees. You can pick up fruit trees at just about any big box store. You can order them offline. We have a link to the person we buy our trees from, but you need to start buying some trees and putting them up and make sure you have them on your property. Now, a lot of times people are like, oh, I can't do that. I live in a smaller area. I only have a balcony. We grow lemon, lime, orange, even down, blueberry, strawberry, all those can be grown in containers. So learn which ones grow better in containers. Now, you can't maybe grow an apple tree or a pecan orchard in buckets. We know that. Let's not be crazy. But let's make sure that we're growing things that we can grow. Raspberries, blackberries, blueberries, limes, kumquats, all those things you can grow in pots. We're growing pineapples in pots. So find ways to grow fruit and nut trees, and that way you're building a legacy for time. Number 4, and we're going to say number 5 because I'm going to throw a 6th one in there anyway, but number 4 and 5 deals with food items. 2 things that you should be purchasing, and especially this time of year for one of them, because this is the flow. Honey and liquor. Now, here's why I say honey and liquor. Honey and liquor never go bad. Honey is a staple that has been around for years. It's good for your metabolism, good for your health. And liquor is the same way, where we're in shortages of medicine. Honey and liquor become basis for a lot of tinctures and a lot of herbal remedies and a lot of medicines. So if you're not able to have medicine and you're not able to buy those and they cost too much, you need to buy honey because it is shelf stable. It's good for you. Of course, it's got so many medicinal benefits. And liquor never goes bad. It needs to be higher quality liquor. We don't buy it in plastic, we buy it in glass. I don't drink, but we have this to make our tinctures, we have this to make our syrups, we have this to make any health medicinal remedy that we're wanting. Both of these go on a pantry shelf, and they should stay there inevitably, and they should be there always. You should be replacing, you should be utilizing. The reason it's a good time to buy things like this is, of course, liquor you can buy any time and have access to it. But if it gets bad times, you have something that's not only a vice, people are going to go crazy to buy it. Buy it now while you can buy it and it comes in surplus. Honey, right now, this is spring flow, so bees are bringing in a lot of pollen, a lot of honey coming into the hive. They're making it and they're capping it off. This is when most people start harvesting a lot of their honey. We'll start harvesting probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And so don't buy from like a big box store in these little prepackaged honeys. You go find to a co-op, a farm store, or you find a local bee apiary, a local beekeeper, and you can do this. You can find on marketplaces, Facebook, any social media. You can reach out and you can find this. A lot of co-op feed stores, local owned, they'll have some there. Hardware stores too. This is when honey comes in, so it tends to be in surplus, so it tends to be a little bit cheaper if you can buy it from the source. So right now, I don't like selling mine, to be honest with you. I stockpile mine. But right now, there is a friend of ours that has about 50 to 60 hives. They're getting so much honey, and they start selling to restaurants and selling to people who want it by the 5-gallon jugs because they get so much right now and they get inundated. Well, if you wait till later in the season, it gets harder to find. Also remember, if you're wanting a spring sweet light honey, very aromatic, spring is when you want to buy it. If you're looking for that deeper, darker auburn color, you look for fall. So depending on what kind of flavors you're looking for, I like the fall flow better because I don't like a lot of sweetness. My wife and kids love the spring flow. So there's some things you need to learn there, but when it comes to health and medicinal benefits, both of these things can be there. Now again, we don't drink, so I'm not telling you to go drink. I'm not telling you to buy this for your alcohol problem. I'm saying buy this for good medicinal benefits to where you can start learning how to do tinctures, learn how to forage, and make you a better person when it comes to sustainability. And lastly, we're going to talk about what we would consider 6, but maybe 5, I don't know, however you want to put it together, is Unplug Phone. Now, I'm not sponsored by Unplug Phone. I've talked to the guys. I actually talked to Eric Prince, who actually made and developed the Unplug Phone. Check this out. Now, this is a very expensive item. It's kind of like looking at sat phones or looking at some other form of communication or looking at some investment in long-term prepping. You know, when we talk about, you know, phones, we're surveilled pretty good. And so if we can find a way to make sure that we're not as surveilled, I think that we're good. It's kind of like the Ring doorbell. It's kind of putting in protocols to make sure that we can do better with that. Well, I ordered my Unplugged phone. They just became to the public. I talked to the leadership there. Actually, my cell phone service is not even taking Unplugged right now. So be careful. Find out if your cell phone service is taking Unplugged. But these phones are amazing. They actually are not hooked to any of the iOS or any of the Google Android platforms. They're hooked into their own. They have a built-in VPN. So I think that if you're looking for a phone that's going to keep you safer, then this may be an option for you. Now you're going to spend $1,000, so it's definitely cheaper than some of the other phones on the market. But you know, I just, if you don't have the money, don't go buy it right now. But you may want to work towards this. We worked towards sat phones and CBs and radios and all this kind of stuff for communication, and now we're starting to work towards, well, let's go back to our typical phones and let's find out how we can keep them safer. So of course our kids have Gab Wireless, which is a whole platform of phones where they cannot have access to the internet. So me and Misty are looking at ways like how can we have better safety while we're doing the things that we do. Well, Unplugged would be that option. So it's an unplugged phone. Eric Prince, if you know anything about Eric Prince, you can do more research on their programs. But I really think this is a good investment if you're working towards a bigger purchase, and especially if you're wanting to be safer. If not, then make sure you're making smart practices with your phone. That's not what this video is about, but you know, you don't sleep next to your phones. Don't just wake up and have them right in your eyes. Keep them out of the room with you. They could be very dangerous and cause a lot of problems anyway. But check out the Unplugged phone. I think it'd be a good investment if you're willing to make some bigger purchases. Now, when it comes to the other numbers that we talked about, all these things you can pick up for not a lot of money. I mean, what I call cash money right out of your wallet. Now, the Unplugged phone, you're going to have to order, so you're not going to use cash. But all the rest of these you can literally buy with cash. And I do. I like to buy things with cash so that way it's between me and the person selling it. And that way I know I can put it up, keep it safe, and that way I know I'm protecting my family. All right, guys, give me your thoughts for today. These 5 things or 6 things are good to have. We have all of these. Actually, we have not activated our Unplugged yet just because of our cell phone provider. We're trying to work through that. But everything else we're doing all the time. You look at all the blueberries behind me. There's a big plum tree and mulberry orchard over here. Our goal is to grow a farm that is sustainable for our family. Now, if you can't grow a farm, you can just start buying food. That way your pantry is stocked up for your family. If you can't do that, there may be a bug out location that you can stockpile for your family. It's always ways that you can get better and be more independent. And that's what we try to preach here is common sense approaches, understanding current events, and learning from them to make sure that you are prepared to take care of your family by all means necessary. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know your thoughts. What did you purchase this week? I'd love to hear. It helps us grow for our community. So if there's things that you said, you know what, this is what I did this week. I think this is a good buy. Let me know. If you paid off debt this week, way to go. Put it in the comments below. And that way we can see and be encouraged and motivated together. Thank you for watching. God bless.